Hi, I'm Eric Kelly from KellyPlanet.com. This is a close look at Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 6, Episode 15, Tapestry. No opening captain's log again. We're in sick bay and there seems to be an emergency. Holy crap, Worf is carrying Captain Picard and he doesn't look so good. Bev says his artificial heart is all messed up from, getting shot. Magic hypospray juice doesn't work, and neither do the cortical stimulators that we've seen many times before. They push in with the camera and Picard wakes up in the construct program from the Matrix, so maybe Lawrence Fishburne is around somewhere. Yeah, there we go.
Welcome to the afterlife, Jean-Luc. You're dead.
Holy crap, that's Q, not Morpheus. He says, yep, you are dead and I am God. Picard's like, no way you are God.
You're lucky I don't cast you out or smite you or something. The bottom line is, your life ended about 5 minutes ago.
I am not dead. Because I refuse to believe that the afterlife is run by you.
Yeah, Picard's really dead, for now. But he doesn't want to believe it. So Q makes Jean-Luc's dad appear and he gives his son crap for leaving the vineyards and joining Starfleet. Then we hear like a cacophony of all the voices of the dead people he was responsible for over the years. Q says, you should apologize to them. They are listening, and I'm just trying to help you. Picard says, yeah, right. I find it hard to believe all of this is you trying to save my soul.
If I'm really dead, then my only regret is dying and finding you here.
You wound me, Jean-Luc. After all, I was not the cause of your death. This was.
Well, yeah, I got shot in the chest. Q asks, well, how come you have one of these anyway? Of course, Q already knows the answer because he can show us. And we've heard this story before. Just after graduation, young Jean-Luc and some friends were at the Bonestel Recreation Facility and got into a fight with some Nausicaans. And then he gets stabbed through the back, looks down, and laughs aloud.
I was a different person in those days. Arrogant, undisciplined. With far too much ego, far too little wisdom. I was more like you.
Then you must have been far more interesting.
Picard admits he started the fight because he was young and cocky. Had he been more responsible, he wouldn't have needed a fake heart, and wouldn't be dead now 30 years later. He tells Q things would be different if he had to do it over, and now this becomes like a holiday movie plot. Holy crap, Picard is back in an old school uniform, but still played by Patrick Stewart. And that lady slapped him.
Bravo. Nicely done.
Colton as well.
Boy, she must have hit you pretty hard. Of course, you deserved it.
Slowing down there, Johnny.
That young lady is Marta Botanides, played by J.C. Brandy, who just turned 49 a few days ago, and she was just 17 when this was filmed. And she's British, but I can't tell. Those two are going to get something to eat and meet up with Picard at Bonestel later. Captain Q pops in to visit Ensign Picard, who asks what this fantasy is all about. Q says, nah, this is legit. I sent you back in time to fix your mistakes. You might look like Patrick Stewart, but everyone else sees you at like 21 years old.
Q, I thought you told me that I was dead. Now it seems that I'm alive.
Are you mortals or so obtuse? Why do you persist in believing that life and death are such static and rigid concepts? Why, I can take your life and give it back to you again. The snap of a finger.
Picard brings up the whole you can't change the past because it will alter the future problem, but Q says, well, you're not that important. And there are multiple timelines and legalities and all that, so don't worry about it. Jean-Luc says, nope, I'm not changing history. So Q's like, okay, fine. I personally guarantee you that the only thing at stake here is your own life. Is that good enough?
If you can avoid getting stabbed through the heart this time, which I doubt, I will take you back to what you think of as the present.
Then I won't die.
Of course you'll die. It'll just be at a later time.
The alternative is to get into the fight anyway, which would mean Picard would die from getting shot in the chest, and he'll have to spend eternity with Q, for some reason. I guess because Q loves him so much. Oh yeah, and we find out here that the lady slapped him earlier because she found out he had been dating her and someone else at the same time. This is the other woman, and she throws her drink at him, and none of this matters, so skip. This game is Dom Jot, and we'll hear about this a lot more on Deep Space Nine. It's like billiards mixed with pinball.
Play, Dom Jot, human.
I think I could be persuaded to play one more game.
Uh-oh. Picard says, how about you don't play against those guys, and this is the first time we get to see Nausicaans. It's a mistake, and that guy, his name is Corton Zweller, is like, what is wrong with you? Don't be a wuss. Q shows up and says, oh, it looks like you haven't been stabbed yet. Good job. The way this plays out is that Corey guy will lose because the Nausicaans are cheating, which he will figure out later. The first time, young Picard helped him get revenge by rigging the table. Q says, oh, you cheated. I'm impressed.
The Nausicaan didn't take kindly to losing, nor his friends. They were outraged. They wanted to fight. I gave them one.
It's a beautiful story. It gets you right here, doesn't it?
Oh, Q. Like Picard said, the Nausicaan wins and that Corey guy isn't happy. Old wise Picard says, oh, getting back at them won't solve anything. Let's go for ice cream. Well, not the last part. Corey thinks Picard has turned into a weakling and he leaves. Underage British lady says, don't worry, he'll get over it, but you are acting kind of weird.
Flowers? Is there a John Luck Pickard here?
From one of your conquests, no doubt. I guess some things aren't going to change.
She leaves so Q and John Luck Pickard can talk. He's there to tell us that Corey is down at Bonistel right now messing with the tables, and remember, Picard's trying to avoid all this. He tries to talk Corey out of it again, and then he straight up tells Picard he's acting like his mother. Picard grabs him and is like, I said no. What, are you going to hit me? No, but I'll go tell on you. So Corey's like, okay, fine, you loser. There's a scene with these two, and she asks if he ever thought about hooking up with her, and he's like, yeah, but you're 17 and I am Patrick Stewart. But they kiss anyway, and that's it. Holy crap, I guess that wasn't it. And holy crap again, that's Q.
Morning, darling.
I don't feel guilty about anything, Q.
We're just friends, Q. Nothing more.
And we're still friends.
Q asks, so what's next? And I would say maybe he put some clothes on. No, never mind, Q leaves. Those two meet up at Bonistal, and it's super awkward because they just slept together. He has no regrets, but she's not so sure. They agree to party it up later before they ship out to different assignments.
You've managed to get slapped by one woman, a drink thrown in your face by another, and alienate your two best friends. Doing pretty well so far. The only thing left to avoid is getting stabbed through the heart.
So this is several hours later and doesn't look like much fun to me. Here's to the class of 27, and uh-oh, there are the Nausicaans. They want to play some Dom Jot, but Picard says, well, I don't think so. So they call the ensigns a bunch of cowards.
What did you say?
Coward. Like all Starfleet, you talk and you talk. But you have no gramba.
Why don't we find out?
Hey, don't be a fool, Colin.
Nausicaan guy talks about playing with botanities, so Corey goes to throw a punch, but Super Picard just tosses him over the table. The Nausicaans laugh and leave, and Corey says, I don't know who you are anymore, but we are not friends. And Marta feels the same way.
Congratulations, mon capitaine. You did it.
Can I help you? Can I help you, Mr. Picard?
Wow, now Lieutenant Junior Grade Picard is wearing a Science Division uniform, and this is the only time we see that. Worf says, oh, this pad isn't for me. Take it to Commander LaForge. But LeVar Burton doesn't even appear in this episode. Picard asks his rank, and Worf says Lieutenant Junior Grade Assistant Astrophysics Officer. And that's news to him. And Data asks if he's feeling all right. Maybe you should go to sickbay.
I'm not sure.
What seems to be the trouble, Lieutenant Picard?
You said nothing would change.
Nothing has changed, Jean-Luc. Except for you.
Everything seems pretty normal except for Jean-Luc. Now he has a real heart and his life is all safe and mediocre because he never took chances when he was younger, like he did the first time around. He finds Riker and Troy in 10 forward and they're like, hey, have a seat, you lower decker. He asks what they think of him and they say, oh, well, you're steady and reliable and punctual. Okay, great. But Picard wants to move up in the world, perhaps even to a command position.
Frankly, Lieutenant, I don't think that's realistic.
Throughout your career, you've had lofty goals, but you've never been willing to do what's necessary to attain them.
I think I have to agree with the counselor.
Riker says, you need to take chances and get noticed. Maybe I can get you a job in engineering, but as far as command, well, we'll see. In the turbo lift, Picard says, oh, Q, I hope it amuses you that I have to live such a crappy life. Then the doors open and we're back to the Matrix.
I can't live out my days as that person. That is not who I am.
Au contraire. He's the person you wanted to be. One who was less arrogant and undisciplined in his youth. One who was less like me.
Q says, I guess you noticed that without facing death, the way you wanted it, you turned out to be a pretty boring guy who always played it safe and never got noticed by anyone. Picard says, you're right, you gave me an opportunity and I messed it up.
Are you asking me for something, Jean-Luc?
Give me a chance to put things back the way they were before.
Before you died in sickbay. Is that what you want?
I would rather die as the man I was than live the life I just saw.
I guess Q is cool with that, because here we are. The Nausicaan calls them cowards again, only this time, Picard starts a fight. Even Botanides get some hits in, and we all know how it's going to turn out. Marta and Corey get knocked out, and Picard takes a dagger through the chest. Yeah, he's awake, and Bev says he'll be alright. Picard is telling Riker, yeah, I don't know what that was about. It could have been a dream. I have a real hard time believing that Q would give me a second chance. But if it was him, I owe him a debt of gratitude.
There are many parts of my youth that I'm not proud of. Loose threads. But when I pulled on one of those threads, it unraveled the tapestry of my life.
As I mentioned, we've heard this story before. Picard conveyed this to Wesley back in Season 2. The version we get here differs a little bit, but not enough to make any difference. If you do the math, 43 years passed between getting stabbed in the chest and getting shot in the chest. Not 30, but that's no big deal. Before I get to my rating, this episode is considered in the top 10 for TNG by just about everybody. This was a great episode, and the writing was fantastic. Again, good job, Ron Moore. Michael Piller wasn't quite as enthusiastic about it, and I think I can explain because I feel the same way. This is a really good episode, but it is missing something. Often this show's writers come onto a great premise and then forget about everything else. Like the rest of the crew, or space, or, I guess Q qualifies as sci-fi. I just needed to speak my mind about that, but I would be remiss if I didn't give this 5 deltas out of 5. You can let me know how you feel about that. If you liked that video, thank you. Like and subscribe and make a comment if you want to. There's more Star Trek videos and related content on my website. Check it out at kellyplanet.com. I'm Eric Kelly. Live long and prosper.